this video, we're going to explore the dot product, which is our first multiplication between two vectors. And what the dot product does for us, it can give us quite a few things. One is it will be useful in finding the angle between two vectors. So it can be used to find the angle between two vectors. It also tells us how much of a given vector lies in the direction of another vector. So we'll come back to this, but let's write down the big idea. So it tells us how much a given vector lies in the direction of another vector. Another way of saying this is how far from a 90-degree angle from normal two vectors are. So for example, if I have a vector here that's vector u, and I have a vector here that's vector v, we would say that these two vectors are quite aligned, right? They're almost in the same direction, not exactly, there's certainly an angle between them, but we would expect then the dot product to have a larger value than if vector u is this way and we have a 90-degree angle between two vectors. If this is the case, then the two vectors are not aligned with each other at all. So the dot product measures how far from a 90-degree angle the two vectors are from each other, or how well aligned are they to one another. When two vectors have a 90-degree angle between them, they're said to be normal vectors. So we can say this also as how far the dot product measures how far from normal two vectors are. And by normal here, we mean that there's a 90-degree angle between two vectors. So we will find that the more aligned two vectors are to one another, so the smaller the angle between them, the larger the value of the dot product, either positively or negatively. And if the angle between the two vectors is a 90-degree angle, then we should have the smallest possible value, smallest possible absolute value of the dot product. So we'll see that the dot product will actually be 0 when two vectors are perpendicular to each other. We'll explore that throughout this section. So the formal definition, one definition of the dot product is, let's suppose that we have a vector A in R3 that's defined by, that has three components, A1, A sub 2, and A sub 3. And we have another vector B with components B sub 1, B sub 2, and B sub 3. When we do the dot product between these two vectors, we denote this by A with a dot, B. This dot is a little bit more bold than a multiplication dot. And what we do to find this product is we multiply corresponding components and add. So the way we'll do this is we first take the first component of vector A, A1, and multiply it by the first component of vector B, B sub 1. Then we add to that the second component of vector A, A sub 2, times the second component of vector B, B sub 2, and add to that the third component of vector A times the third component of vector B. And this is how we define, one way of defining the dot product between two vectors. So verbally we would say we multiply corresponding components of the two vectors and then add those components. So multiply corresponding components and add. So for now, we're not going to think about the interpretation of what this number will give us. It is important to note, though, that because we're multiplying real numbers and adding them, the result will be a scalar. It's not going to be another vector. We get a numerical value from a dot product. So we get a real number and the result of a dot product is always a scalar, a numerical value. We'll see that that's different when we do the cross product, which is another way of multiplying vectors. All right, let's do a couple of examples. Let's suppose that we have vector u has components square root of 3, 1, 0, and vector v is 1, square root of 3, and 0. And so to find u dot v, we're going to multiply corresponding components and add. So we'll do the square root of 3 times 1, so multiplying the first component of the two vectors. Add to that 1, which is the second component of u, times root 3, which is the second component of v, and then add to that 0 times 0, the product of the third components. So this gives us the square root of 3 plus the square root of 3 plus 0, and the dot product is 2 root 3, and notice that this is actually a scalar, just a real number result. Okay, let's do another example and then we'll discuss some properties of the dot product. So now let's let v be 2 times I hat minus 3j hat plus k hat, so our other way of representing vectors, and w is negative I hat plus 3j hat plus minus 5k hat. So to find v dot w, we're going to multiply those corresponding components and add. The first component of v is 2, and the first component of w is negative 1. To that, we're going to add the second components. Second component of v is negative 3. Second component of w is positive 3. Third component of v is 1. Third component of w is negative 5. So we multiply corresponding components. Now we add. So we have a negative 2 minus 9 minus 5, which gives us a negative 16. And that is the value of the dot product, another scalar. Okay, let's finally just discuss a few properties of the dot product, and I'll prove one of them. But they're pretty straightforward to prove if you just take a few vectors and use our definition of the dot product. So the first one tells us that order does not matter. So when we do u dot v, that is the same as doing v dot u. This is the commutative property of the dot product. So it doesn't matter what order we do this in, we will get the same scalar. That's because the dot product is defined by multiplying and adding real numbers, and both multiplication and addition of real numbers are commutative. The second one is an associative property. So it tells us that when I have a scalar c times the dot product of u and v, either we have c multiplies one of the vectors and then dot it with the other, or c can multiply the second vector and dot it with the first. So this is just a way of regrouping, multiplying a scalar by a dot product of two vectors, and this is called the associative property. So just regrouping. Our third property is the distributive property, and this says it's distributive of the dot product over addition. So this shows us that if we have the dot product of a vector dotted with the sum of two vectors, we can distribute the dot product, this vector, through the sum of the other two vectors, and we'll get the dot product of u dotted with the first vector plus u dotted with the second vector, much like the distributive property of multiplication of real numbers. So this is called the distributive property. The fourth property tells us that if we multiply the 0 vector dotted with any other vector, we should get the scalar 0. And that should make sense because the components of the 0 vector are all 0. When we multiply corresponding components and add, we will just get 0. And finally, the fifth property tells us that when we do the dot product of a vector, position vector by itself, we will get the magnitude of that position vector squared. Let's see how this works. So I'm going to first, let's define v to be the position vector with components v sub 1, v sub 2, and v sub 3. when we take the dot product of v by itself, we are multiplying each component by itself. So we're going to get v1 will multiply v1. So v1 times v1 plus v2 times v2, right? I'm multiplying corresponding components and adding, plus v sub 3 times v sub 3, which gives us v sub 1 squared plus v sub 2 squared plus v sub 3 squared. Now recall that the magnitude of a vector v is the square root of the squared components of v1 squared plus v sub 2 squared plus v sub 3 squared, but we have a square root. So if we square both sides, we see that the magnitude squared will just give us v sub 1 squared plus v sub 2 squared plus v sub 3 squared, which results in the same thing that we had here when we just took the dot product of v by itself. And so this is a property that we will be using when we think about another way of representing the dot product in the following video.